Hello there! If you're looking to gain muscle and lose fat while not eating like a rabbit, you've come to the right place. In this video, I take you through my latest meal prep session where I make my favourite breakfast of all time, a budget-friendly salmon pasta for lunch, a taco salad bowl that literally looks like it serves four, but no honey, it's all for you. I also show you my go-to bread recipe that's completely foolproof, homemade ginger shots, and more. Chin chin. I am no expert, but I promised myself I would share what actually works for me when it comes to fitness, food and sobriety. This meal prep saves you a ton of time, keeps you satisfied and gets those gains, baby. Let's get right into it, shall we? But first, bread. I've been making this bread for weeks and it is just so delicious. You're gonna need 420 grams of bread flour, 420 baby, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 1 packet or 7 grams of yeast. Mix it in. 320 millilitres of warm water. Optional is 2 tablespoons of oil. But that is optional. So if you're cutting or you don't want to have your fats in your bread, then just omit that and it's still really nice. You should be left with a super sticky dough like this. Done. What was that? 30 seconds and we're done? It's a no-brainer. Make this bread and thank me later. You just want to cover that with a towel and set it aside in a warm place for 2 hours or until doubled in size. With meal prep, you always want to start with the thing that takes the longest. So for me today, it's going to be roasting some vegetables. Put the oven on to 200 degrees. I'm going to start by preparing my squash. Put sweet potato. Usually I'm using squash. No, it's a really good idea to make a meal prep video when your washing machine is spinning. It really sets the ambience. Squash. Squash? Next. Sweet potato party. I kind of want to scrub these. Just scrub the shit out of them. Scrub-a-dub-dub-dub. Better. I like to top and tail my spuds. Chop these into bite-sized pieces. Olive oil, salt and pepper. Uh-oh. You want it flat. A 1-layer situation. Now they're ready to roast. 30-minute timer for the taters. It's time to get the rest of the squash. No, it's time to get the rest of the frittata ready. Feta, ham, egg whites, eggs. Optional, chutney. This is so easy. You literally just cut everything up, whack it in there, give it a mix, bake it, and you're done. Which is why I make frittata every single week. Every week that I don't make frittata, I miss my frittata. Crumble it in. Now, obligatory lick hands. You know, I actually usually would do that, but I just had... This is what happens when you eat before you meal prep. I actually would recommend it. You don't want to eat everything. Eggs. Going in. Now, you do want to use whole eggs. The nutrients is really good for you in the yolk. Obviously, I've got fats coming in from the feta and the ham, which is why I won't use 12 whole eggs. I'll fill the rest up with a whole carton of egg whites. I like to add a nice dollop of my homemade red onion chutney for extra flavour. If you're looking for other ways to jazz up your frittata, you can obviously mix up the vegetables you're adding in there, mix up the meat, whatever. But you could also add something like this, which is a sun-dried tomato paste, or harissa, which adds just a really nice kick of heat and flavour. Whisk it up. If you're worried about your pan getting damaged, then just do this in a big bowl first and then pour it in, making sure that your additions are evenly spread out. Now, because there's quite a lot of salty ingredients in here from the ham and the feta, I don't really like to add a lot of salt, but I do like to add a little bit. I have made the mistake of over salting this and then just hating my life, or hating my breakfast at least, for the next week, which is always the risk you take when you meal prep. Now, we're just gonna set this aside, ready to add the squash. I would usually add something like petit pois into this, but I don't actually have any right now. So I'm just gonna leave it, and it's just gonna have no green, and it's gonna be fine. Put it aside, baby. Next up, I'm gonna be making salmon pasta, which I'm gonna be having for my lunches. Got a big pot here. You want a big pot so that when you mix it up, it's just not going everywhere. 240 grams of pasta. Salt your pasta water. Microwave that. You can really add any vegetables here, make it more salady, add cucumber, tomato, red onion, olives, you know, you could really get creative. I'm just doing the mixed veg because it's so easy and cheap. Ooh, there we go. Now just let that cool down a bit before we add our yogurt and mayo, because we don't want it to go all icky and weird. Moving to the other side of my kitchen, we recently bought this Ninja thing, which does pressure cooking, slow cooking, and air frying, and it's actually unbelievably amazing. Today I'm going to use it to make my beef mince mix that I'm going to be adding to my taco bowls for the week. If you don't have one of these, which we didn't for like our whole lives until this year, then you can just make this on the stovetop and it's still just as delicious. It's just I'm going to pressure cook this just to make it more tender and delicious without having to spend loads of time on the hob. Oh, look at that. Get that squash in there. Mix it in. Set a timer for 30 more minutes. I'm gonna start by adding a little drizzle of oil. PSA for future Jess, it helps if you press start. While that heats up, I'm just gonna trim my Cavallo Nero off the stalk. Beef goes in. Salt, pepper, ras el hanout, cumin, paprika, thyme, parsley. Beans. I'm gonna add some of this just for extra flavour because I thought I had chopped tomatoes and I don't. Stock cube. Nooch. It's gonna add a nice cheesy sort of flavour. Peppers. Now we close it. Make sure that's on the seal position. I'm gonna slide it over. Pressure on high. I'm gonna do it for 15 minutes and see how it is. Let's finish off the salmon pasta. Veggies in first. Smoky pap, parsley, dill. If I had fresh dill, I would add that. Chives adds a really nice oniony flavour, but you could definitely just add chopped onion. Same. Our salmon. Gonna add a good squeeze of tomato puree. Add a dollop of real mayo. And then, because I like it super creamy, 0% yogurt. I'm actually lactose intolerant, but funnily enough, when I eat real dairy that's not full of crap, I'm actually fine. Salt, always. Now mix. Gonna fold in the pasta now. And that's it. That's our lunch salmon pasta done. Here I'm just weighing out some sweet corn to check the serving size. Since I was unsure about the macros, it's always a good idea to check the macros of an ingredient to make sure you're not overeating it. Now the frittata is just about done. Always give it a jiggle as you get it out of the oven. Just massaging the kale so that the fibres break down and it's a lot more palatable, easier to eat, digest, and more delicious. Wash my lettuce. Slice it thin. I like it so it's nice and thin. We have our greens prepared. We're now at the stage where things are just kind of cooling down before I can kind of lid them and put them in the fridge. So I'm going to make some ginger shots ready for the week. This is so easy and you can switch it up, add whatever you like. If you have a juicer, even better, but this method works just fine. So you're going to literally cut up your apples. I'm adding apples, ginger root and lemon juice to mine. If you have fresh lemons, even better. I'm just going to do half and half because my blender is only so big. But it's all going to end up in the same pot anyway. Bit of lemon. Helps to keep it fresh. You could also add apple cider vinegar, whatever you want. You could even add turmeric root if you've got some and a bit of black pepper. But I'm just sticking to the classic. Whack it all in your blender. Now this is going to struggle a little bit, but just give it some time. Now that's blended, you want to put that onto a cheesecloth or a clean tea towel. I'm going to try using a blue J cloth today because I was actually gifted these back when I worked at a cafe and I've just never used them. They've just sat in my cupboard and I thought it might work for this, so we're going to experiment today. Just pour it out. Now I'd usually pour it into a jug and our bread is rising in it. So I do need to get myself a second one, I realise that. That's actually almost ready to go now. 15 more minutes and we can shape it. Pour it out. I'm going to squeeze the living daylights out of this, like so. Oh my god, it's busting out of it. Bro, there's literally a hole in it. Wow. This one doesn't have a hole in it. Right, we're going to manoeuvre her over. It's fine. Look at all that. Oh, yeah. There is a lot of juice to be had here. Oh my god, I fucking put a hole in it. No way. So I'm the reason there was a hole in it. It's fine. Do not use a J cloth. It doesn't work. Now, what are we saying? Let's pretend that never happened. Squeeze it like an udder. Boom. So that has made, obviously I fucked up a bit, but that's made 400 millilitres. Now when I want it, chin chin. She's fiery. Delicious. Pretty much at the end of the meal prep day. Time to shape our bread. Let's have a little look at her, shall we? Ooh, she's bussin'. I like to add a little bit of olive oil into here just to grease it up. I've never actually done it without because I'm worried about it sticking, but you know your pan, you experiment, do what works for you. I've also made this in a round glass dish and it worked perfectly fine. I've just bought this sandwich tin, which I'll link down below, because we've started to use it a lot for sandwiches and it's more convenient to cut from a sandwich tin than a round loaf. Wetting it just helps it not stick quite as much. And then I'm just gonna like punch down from the sides, punch some of the air out, and scoop it into this tin that we've prepared. I don't know if my arm's in the way. Fuck. That's why I've been filming from the other direction, because then you can actually see what I'm doing. Let me do it like this, just for the benefit of you. Wow, this is hard. Never will I do this for you ever again. There we go. And then you can just kind of like buff it out a bit in the thing. See how this is just like the most no effort, no skill bread that you could possibly make. Like that's why I like making it, because it's just so low effort, like nothing can go wrong. That's gonna be bread and it's gonna be delicious. Let that sit for another hour and a half to 2 hours. Got one more little thing that I want to do to set myself up for the week. We've been buying these nuts in the snack pack version, and I recently looked up, literally last week, that buying them in a big pack is half the price. I bought these little pots off Amazon. Zero it. 30 grams. These nuts are ready to go. Dude, this pressure cooker does something to your food. It's honestly amazing. Look kind of naff, not gonna lie, but then I just tasted it and it's so frickin' delicious. Oh yeah, looking good. Just gonna slice into my frittata here, so I think it's cooled enough. Okay. Ooh. Yay! I'm pleased to say that the meal prep is done. This is everything that we created today. We've got our taco bowl station. We've got a loaf of bread that's still rising. Portioned out some nuts. We've got our breakfast frittata, still cooling. And our salmon pasta, ready to go. Now we've finished our prep, it's time to pack up and clean up. I just want to say thank you so much for joining me for my meal prep today, and I really hope you enjoyed. If you want to take anything away from this, it's write a plan, do the things that take the longest first, and clean as you go. Fucking thumbnails, eh? Fucking weird things, aren't they?